Welcome to this explainer. I want you to look around you for a second. The screen you're watching this on, the chair you're sitting in, the walls surrounding you. Literally everything arrived exactly where it needed to be through a vast, unseen, brilliantly orchestrated nervous system. Today, we're uncovering the invisible lifeblood of our modern economy. We're talking about global logistics.
So, what if the world just stopped? I really want you to take a breath and think about that stark reality. Imagine every single cargo ship dropping anchor, every freight train grinding to a halt, every massive warehouse going completely dark.
Nothing delivered, nothing transported. Honestly, without this invisible empire of logistics, modern life completely collapses. Supermarkets would empty out in a matter of days. Hospitals would run out of life-saving supplies almost instantly. The global economy enters this immediate catastrophic freeze. It's a terrifying thought, right? But it perfectly illustrates exactly what is at stake here.
Okay, let's dive into this. Act 1. The Awakening.
You see, logistics isn't just about driving trucks, not even close. It's an intensely complex business planning framework. Officially, it's the science of planning, implementing, and controlling the efficient flow and storage of goods, services, and information. It tracks every single step from the exact point of origin to the exact point of consumption. And why does it exist? Purely to conform to our immense, unyielding consumer demands. It's all about having the right thing at the right place, precisely at the right time.
And what's crazy is that this whole field was born out of survival. In its military origins, it was literally the life-or-death science of supplying armies and evacuating forces. But over the decades, that hardcore survival framework evolved into modern business. It became this incredibly complex corporate management of material, service, and capital flows that completely dominates today's global economy.
Which brings us to Act 2, the stakes.
Because when things go wrong here, they go really wrong. Unwise decisions create this terrifying cascade of mission-critical disasters. Deliveries fail, buyers completely revolt, goods get irreparably damaged from careless transport, and skyrocketing expenses slowly suffocate a business from poor planning. Seriously, just a single bad decision about a shipping route or a vendor can trigger all of these nightmares at once.
So who actually fights this chaos? Well, enter the logistician. These folks have to absolutely master 4 massive domains: materials management, distribution, channel management, and supply chain management. It's like a giant puzzle. They are the frontline operators controlling and planning everything to prevent those disasters, making sure products and people integrate flawlessly into the everyday flow of business.
$750 billion. Let that sink in for a second. That is the staggering global value of the third-party logistics, or 3PL industry, that swoops in to manage all this incredible complexity.
Globally, we've seen immense growth here over the past decade. 40% of organizations now use these third-party logistics providers. And this massive surge translates directly to huge job creation worldwide. We're talking transporters, warehouse facility owners, and brokers. Companies are basically outsourcing the headache to the absolute experts.
Moving right along, Act 3, the Global Engine.
Now, what's really interesting about this is looking at the macro level. While the logistics sector makes up just 5% of the UK's gross domestic product, that sliver is incredibly dense. That 5% is estimated to be worth a staggering £55 billion to the UK economy alone.
And the human scale? It is just as breathtaking. 1.7 million. That's the number of people employed by the logistics sector in the UK. It's this immense, highly coordinated human army pulling the levers behind the scenes of our daily lives.
And they are literally moving mountains. According to the Freight Transport Association, 139 billion ton-kilometers of goods were moved by rail and road in just a single year. Let your mind try to visualize that for a second. An unstoppable, heavily loaded global machine in constant motion. It's basically a giant artery of steel, rubber, and sheer momentum.
This reality makes logistics the absolute accelerator of economic development and growth. In fact, the development level of a country's logistics industry is actually one of the primary markers used to evaluate its state modernization and its comprehensive national strength.
This is exactly why the World Bank created the Logistics Performance Index, or LPI. This index helps countries figure out logistics reform programs. Why? Because overall logistics costs dictate where global firms decide to do business. If a country has higher logistics costs, global firms simply won't set up shop there, and they definitely won't buy from suppliers there. Countries that fall behind in logistics literally miss out on the entire opportunity of globalization.
To stay competitive in all this, the best companies integrate everything into a digital strategy. Technology acts as the central nervous system. By tracking orders, vehicles, and pallets, they gain crucial visibility. And that visibility lets them optimize the flow of goods, reduce wait times, and manage those massive costs. It's these tech advancements that make it possible to deliver your stuff on time while radically cutting down expenses.
Let's slow down for a second and look at Act 4, the rules of engagement.
Holding this incredibly volatile system together is an absolute mountain of international regulations. You've got the Hague-Visby rules, the Hamburg rules, the Rotterdam rules, the Customs Act. Governments put these in place to ensure a fair playground, sure, but man, it makes for an incredibly complex, globally interwoven legal environment.
So logistics and transportation companies are facing a multitude of pressures. In trying to keep their competitive edge, they're dealing with escalating liability and insurance risks, tightening regulatory structures, and a huge demand for innovative finances. The big takeaway here is that even the very best companies sometimes forget that their supply chains are only as strong as the transportation system that supports them and the rigorous legal framework that binds the whole thing together.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought. Look around you once more. Really think about it. How many global laws, how many massive cargo ships, and how many millions of lines of algorithmic code did it actually take to bring you the exact device you're watching this on right now? The invisible empire is always moving, and hopefully, now you can finally see it. Thanks for learning with me today.